You guys ever record a video and you hit start recording, and within 2 minutes you hit stop recording and then you start over again? I've done that 11 times. 11 times on this video, and we're just gonna run with it. We're done. We're done. I'm wasting so much time here trying to figure out a way to not be corny. I'm just corny, and that is what it is. I started thinking, this is how the entire video started. I just couldn't figure out how to phrase this. Started thinking a couple days ago about video ideas, something that maybe I could put out there that I would get really excited about. And every once in a while, there's an idea that comes into the fanny brain that's like, oh, I think this video is going to be really good. And I had one of those moments a couple days ago. I even tweeted it out. I said, I think Tuesday's video is going to be absolutely slapping. I didn't tweet that because I didn't want to lose a bunch of followers, but that's what I thought. I thought, okay, I think Tuesday's video is going to be really, really good. I started putting all this data together, looking up things, mathing it out, cooking in the kitchen. I was like, okay, this is going to be absolutely amazing. And I don't even know if this is any information that is valuable at all or that you would find to be interesting. This is just information that I find interesting. So I hope you like it. And if you do, you have to make an agreement here. If you do like it, you have to hit that subscribe button down below. You have to leave a like. You have to leave a comment. You have to share the video. That's way too much. That's a lot of stuff that you need to do. If you don't like it, you don't have to do any of those things. But if you do like it, you have to do all 4 of those things. That's too much. Too much. At this point is when I would hit the stop button and start over again. But we're not going to do it. We're just going to keep going. In this video, we're going to talk about Evolving Skies. We're going to talk about how many Evolving Skies packs have been opened. And this is just completely math data based off of my own research. Evolving Skies, probably the most in-demand set, the most popular set that's been released for the past 5 years, probably the most popular set that's been released since Hidden Fates. People can't get enough of Evolving Skies because of the alternate arts that are in the set. The alternate art Evolutions line, even the Rayquaza, the Dragonite, a lot of fan favorites. Even you look at the Bat Noivern, which is just fantastic artwork. Evolving Skies is just a really fun set to open. Hidden Fates, also a really fun set to open. So that's why I kind of compare the two. Even though Hidden Fates was a specialty set, it was a subset, it was a holiday set. So in that regard, nothing like Evolving Skies. But as far as demand goes, Evolving Skies, a set that technically, I mean, it's only a couple years old. So in normal years, it would still be normal gens of Pokemon would still be kind of in print because it's still in rotation, right? You can still use the cards in competitive play. But Evolving Skies, just a huge fan favorite. And I really started thinking, I was like, I wonder how many Evolving Skies booster packs have been open. I wonder how many of these have been open. And we like to talk, we like to theorize, we like to see how many cards are in existence and things like that, because I think it's really important to get a good understanding of how much supply is out there. So if we kind of compare supply to like Sun and Moon era, and we start comparing supply to XY era to see how many of these cards are actually in existence, because that's going to determine how they appreciate over time. Of course, nowadays people are much smarter. Collectors are much smarter. I guess I shouldn't say smarter, but more diligent when it comes to protecting their collectibles. We're much more aware now of what you need to do in order to ensure that they don't decrease in value over time. But I started compiling as many numbers as I possibly could. And the best way that I could figure out doing this to make a determination of how many Evolving Skies packs have been opened was to look at pop reports. So I started looking at the population reports for PSA, for Beckett grading, and for CGC, just kind of getting the top 3 population reports, the top 3 grading companies as far as volume goes, to get a good understanding of how many cards have been graded. And I was like, okay, well, I've got to shrink this down a little bit, Fanny. This is just too much data. So then I just focused on the alternate art secret rares, the VMAXs, the alternate art VMAXs, which there's like 6 or 7 in the set. And I was like, okay, if I can compile all this data and then multiply it times the amount, like the pull rate, the expected pull rate of these cards, I can get an accurate understanding of how many packs were opened to get these cards graded. And then when you assume, you should never assume, and this could be way off base, I'm making the assumption that only about 25% of these alternate art VMAXs have been graded. And that might even be a little high. Honestly, I think that is a little bit high, and you can let me know in the comment section if you disagree. But I think only about 25% of these alternate art VMAXs have been graded. And you also have to go under the understanding that all these alternate art VMAXs have the same pull rates. That secret rares basically have the same pull rate. So there's not going to be less Umbreon VMAXs in existence than Duraludon VMAXs in existence. They're going they're going to be printed the same amount. So the alternate art Umbreon VMAX was printed the same amount of times as the Duraludon VMAX. Now, there's no way to know for sure. We can assume this based off of the printing sheets and things like that we've seen in the past. There's no way to know that 100%, but that's the assumption that we're going to make as we talk about this video. I'm going to stop rambling so you can see exactly the data that I pulled, and we're going to start out looking at the big boy right here. This is the Umbreon VMAX. This is the alternate. This is the chase card for a lot of different people, and we're just going to go through the total amount graded, not the total amount of tens in existence, because that doesn't necessarily matter as much. Obviously, it does impact the value moving forward, but we're just looking at the total amount that have been graded. Now, again, this isn't going to be perfect data because you have to figure a lot of slabs, a percentage, a small percentage, but a percentage have been cracked open, reholdered, resubmitted with a new grading company, just taken out of the holder and sold raw, whatever the case may be. These are going to be a little bit higher than what there actually are in existence. So if we look at the Umbreon VMAX, for example, PSA, which is going to be PSA obviously going to do the most volume out of all of these grading companies that we're going to look at. Umbreon VMAX, 12,497 alternate art Umbreon VMAXs that have been graded. That's just insane amount. Obviously, a lot of tens, but also a lot of other numbers as well. Almost 12,500. And this is the pop report data compiled up until like a couple days ago. So this is going to change. It's going to continue to go up, but almost 12,500 Umbreon VMAXs. If you go to Beckett, so BGS, you're only looking at about 2,400 Umbreon VMAXs that have been graded. So people kind of grading, trying to get that black label. 2,403. CGC, a little bit lower than the rest of them. CGC Umbreon VMAXs, you're looking at 2,200. So we have all of the graded numbers for the Umbreon VMAX, and then we did that with all of the alternate VMAXs. So if we look at Rayquaza, for example, PSA has 8,139 Rayquaza VMAXs that have been graded. Beckett has 1,038 Rayquaza VMAXs that have been graded, and CGC has 1,522 Rayquaza VMAXs that have been graded. Still very high numbers. It's a little different as we get down the line of these alternate arts. Beckett goes down a little bit. CGC still stays relatively the same. I think that's just because their value, their bulk slabs are a little bit cheaper. And then PSA, obviously, you see this big discount or this big drop as far as amount graded for some of these less popular cards. Still very popular, but not as popular as like the Umbreon VMAX and the Rayquaza VMAX. PSA for the Leafeon VMAX, still a large amount, a large sample that has been graded, 5,696. BGS, you're looking at 551, and then CGC cards, 1,075. If you look at the Glaceon VMAX, I love the artwork on this card, it's so cute. PSA has graded 5,514 of these. BGS has graded 525, and CGC has graded 1,095. Look at that little Eevee over there, so cool. Sylveon VMAX PSA, 7,182. So still a lot of Sylveon VMAXs that were graded through PSA. BGS Beckett grading 674, and then CGC grades 1,435 of these Sylveon VMAXs. Again, it's very important to remember that not all of that's going to be a high number, because some people crack theirs open, resubmit for reholders or whatever they might do. So this is going to be a little bit on the high end. Poor Duraludon VMAX. Duraludon VMAX just does not get as much love. Obviously, the cheapest of the alternate art VMAXs for sure. Also does not get a whole lot of love when it comes to the grading. PSA has graded 1,036 of the Duraludon VMAXs. Beckett has graded 38, and CGC has graded 262. Okay, this is when the math gets a little bit more tricky. This is when hopefully I don't lose you. But what we do then is we add up the total amount of grades that each of these three companies have made. Now, obviously, there's more grading companies out there. There's AGS, there's SGC, there's other companies out there that did not pull any pop report information. So this is not all the graded copies in existence to begin with. This is just the big three. So these numbers are going to be low. 40,064 cards, 40,064 alternate art VMAXs, just alternate art VMAXs that have been graded from PSA. So that's a lot. That's a huge quantity that is in existence. If you look at Beckett BGS grading, 5,229 alternate art VMAXs from Evolving Skies that have been graded with Beckett. And then CGC has graded 7,589 alternate art VMAXs from Evolving Skies. So very high numbers. We add those all together and you get 52,882. 52,882 alternate art VMAXs from Evolving Skies that have been graded. That is an insane number, 52,882. That is a lot of cards. So your pull rate, and this is a pull rate based off of the data that we compiled when we initially opened Evolving Skies. There's a lot of different theories that go around that second print runs, third print runs, fourth print runs, they get worse over time as first pull rates go. I don't believe in that theory, but other people do. So you might assume that pull rates got worse as the time goes on. So more packs would be in existence. Also, the pull rate data is typically, this pull rate data, we actually got a little bit lucky when we used our sample size. We pulled a little bit more alternate VMAXs than I think what we expected to. Typically, it seems closer to 1 per case, but we're going to go with the science. We're going to go with the data that we have in front of us. 1 out of 177 packs, so 1 out of every roughly 5 booster packs is going to, or 5 booster boxes is going to pull you an alternate art VMAX. So if you take that 52,882, the total amount that are graded, and you multiply that times 177 packs, understanding that it's going to take you 177 packs at least to pull one of those, that means the total booster packs that have been cracked of Evolving Skies is 9,360,114. So over 9.3 million Evolving Skies booster packs that have been cracked in order to just get the submission totals or the amount graded from these big 3 companies. So not even all the companies, just these big 3 booster boxes. Now, obviously, there's a lot more products out there than just booster boxes. So this is just purely for trying to understand and paint a picture. Obviously, you're going to get Evolving Skies packs and tins and collection boxes and things like that. That would imply 260,000 booster boxes, so in excess of 260,000. However, like we said at the beginning of this video, I don't believe that a lot of people grade. I think that some people grade. I think a good chunk of people grade, but I don't believe that a lot of people grade. I think the majority of people do not grade their cards. I think the majority of people have raw cards, and you can let me know in the comment section down below. You can say, hey, Fanny, I think you're dumb. I think 75% of people grade their cards, especially their alternate VMAXs. But we're assuming that only 25% of the actual amount of copies, and this is, I am interested to know what you guys think. I put 25%. I still think that that's a little bit high. I think it's probably closer to like 15, maybe 20% of these actual cards have been sent off to grading. The Umbreon VMAX probably a little bit higher, but some of those other cards, obviously Duraludon, for example, much less that have been graded. So if we're looking at the entire scope of things, I'm just putting 25%. So if we multiply 52,882 and take that as a quarter, that would mean 92,544 alternate art VMAXs are in existence. So we take that times 1.75, 92,544 alternate art VMAXs that are in existence. If we take a pull rate data of that of 177 packs, that would mean in total there's 16,380,288 booster packs of Evolving Skies that have been opened already, which is absolutely insane. And if we look at that in terms of value, the Pokemon Company value, now obviously this is just taking it times $4 a booster pack. Pokemon would only make $4 a booster pack based off of everything that they sell on their website. A lot of these products got shipped off to marketing companies to sell at big box stores or to LGS's, brick and mortar wholesale, places like that. So they're not getting $4 on every single pack that they've sold, but we're just averaging, we're just taking $4 because that's the value that they're at, right? $65 million. $65.5 million worth of Evolving Skies that have been opened, which is an absolute insane amount. If we break it down into booster boxes, like I said before, it's not going to be exactly booster boxes, but 455,008 booster boxes. 16.3 million is just such a high number. It just seems insane to think about. Now, obviously, Pokemon is very, very big. Pokemon is very, very popular. There's still a ton of demand for Pokemon and has been. Obviously, Evolving Skies kind of came out during the height of the pandemic, the height of this time frame when people were really, really into ripping packs. And I really want to just put it into perspective of how many booster packs of Evolving Skies, just one set by itself, have most likely, theoretically, been open, which is just an insane amount to think about. You can let me know what you think in the comment section down below. It still kind of blows my mind, even though I've been sitting on this data for a couple days now. And you can let me know in the comment section how far off you think this is, or if you think this is relatively accurate. To me, I think this is relatively accurate data based off of the math that I've done. However, it does seem like a very, it's more than what I expected. I thought maybe, okay, let's assume 5, 6, 7 million packs of Evolving Skies that have already been opened or are in existence or something like that. Maybe there's a lot that still have been stored, saved away. But if you just think about, like, okay, let's say only half of the Evolving Skies packs have been opened and there's still half available out there, you know, stored in storage units or stored in different places, that would imply multiply that, there's over 30 million packs in existence, which is absolutely insane to think about. So you can let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Absolutely insane. I'm sorry for being corny. Thank you guys so much for everything. If you did enjoy the data, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends. If you didn't like the data, don't do any of those things. But thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video. We'll talk to you again in a couple days. Until next time, peace.